My beloved brothers and sisters, every one of us dreams of stability, comfort, and a future where our families are protected, safe, and honored. Wealth itself is not the enemy. In fact, it is a blessing from Allah, a trust placed in your hands, a tool through which you can build goodness both in this world and the next. The real question is not how much do I have, but rather how did I earn it and how am I using it? Today, I want to remind your heart of something powerful. Your risk was written before you were born, yet Allah still commands you to seek it in a pure way. Why? Because the journey matters, the barakah matters. A small halal income can lift you higher than mountains of haram wealth that drain your peace. When we talk about wealth in Islam, it is very important to first understand that money is not just a number or a commodity, it is a trust from Allah. Every penny that comes into our hands is a gift, and every penny that leaves is a test. Before you think about saving, before you think about multiplying your wealth, you must look inward and examine your intentions. Why do you want to save? Is it just for personal comfort, or is it to be able to live a life of dignity, to support your family, and to be in a position to give back to others? This is crucial because wealth without the right intention is like a ship without a rudder. It will drift and eventually be lost. But when your intention is pure, when your purpose is to live responsibly, to prepare for the future, and to earn the pleasure of Allah, every effort you make becomes blessed. Discipline is the second pillar of building wealth. Many people think that saving money is simply a matter of putting aside whatever is left at the end of the month. But in reality, this is a recipe for inconsistency. True financial discipline requires planning, foresight, and a commitment to yourself. It is about creating a habit, a routine, and a lifestyle where you prioritize saving as a regular action. Imagine this. Each time you earn, even if it is a small amount, you set aside a portion with the intention of preserving it and growing it. This is not a small thing, it is a demonstration of self-control and mindfulness. Every dollar you save becomes a soldier in your financial army, preparing you for emergencies, opportunities, and responsibilities. Now, let us reflect on the Islamic perspective. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "The best provision is what benefits you after your death." This includes wealth that you manage responsibly and invest in a way that is pleasing to Allah. Saving is not just about hoarding. It is about planning for the future without neglecting the present. It is about knowing that tomorrow may bring challenges that require wisdom and preparedness. And so, discipline is not just a personal trait, it is a spiritual exercise. When you resist impulsive spending, when you avoid wastefulness, and when you control your desires, you are not just protecting your wealth, you are strengthening your character. It is also important to understand that small, consistent steps can lead to tremendous results over time. One of the biggest mistakes people make is waiting for a perfect moment or a large income before they start saving. But in reality, the habit of saving is more important than the amount saved initially, even if it is just a small portion of your income. When done with sincerity, it compounds in value and in blessing. Allah does not look at the size of your savings, but at the intention, consistency, and the effort you put in. Moreover, discipline is deeply connected to gratitude. When you save responsibly, you are acknowledging the blessings Allah has given you. You are recognizing that wealth is a tool, not a goal in itself. And when your heart is grateful, your savings are not a burden. They become a source of security, peace, and confidence. You begin to see money not as a source of anxiety, but as a means to live purposefully, to fulfill your responsibilities, and to give to those in need. Finally, I want to emphasize patience. Wealth does not grow overnight. Saving requires endurance and a long-term vision. Just as a farmer plants seeds and waits for the harvest, we too must be patient with our financial growth. Impulsive decisions, extravagance, or chasing shortcuts can destroy what took time and effort to build. But when you remain steadfast, disciplined, and guided by your intention, you create a foundation that will sustain you for life. Once we have established the importance of intention and discipline in saving, the next step is to understand how to grow the wealth we have saved. Saving alone is not enough. If money simply sits idle, it may lose its value over time due to inflation, rising expenses, or unforeseen circumstances. Therefore, it is essential to invest wisely. But in Islam, investing is not just about making money, it is about making money in a way that is halal, ethical, and pleasing to Allah. Every decision we make with our wealth should align with the principles of Sharia, because wealth gained through haram means, even if it appears large, brings no blessing and often leads to hardship and regret. Investing wisely begins with knowledge. One cannot invest successfully without understanding what is being invested in. This is true in all aspects of life, but particularly when it comes to wealth. Take the time to learn, research, and seek advice from those who are experienced and trustworthy. Be cautious of schemes that promise quick profits, for in reality, wealth earned without effort or understanding often disappears just as quickly. Allah reminds us in the Quran that He does not change the condition of a people until they change what is within themselves. This includes changing our financial habits, educating ourselves, and taking responsible steps toward growth. Knowledge, therefore, is the first key to halal investment. Patience is the second pillar of wise investment. Many people fall into the trap of seeking instant returns. They want quick success, immediate profit, and they often take risks that are high, unethical, or haram. Islam teaches us that everything in life has its seasons. Just as a tree takes time to grow and bear fruit, so does wealth. Investments made with diligence, research, and ethics take time to show results. But when approached with patience, these investments become not just sources of financial growth, but also sources of spiritual satisfaction, because you know that your wealth is earned in a halal manner and with sincerity of intention. Diversification is another important principle. Putting all your savings into a single investment is risky, no matter how promising it appears. By spreading your investments across multiple halal avenues, you protect yourself from unforeseen losses and ensure more stable growth. Halal investment options may include ethically run businesses, stocks that comply with Islamic finance principles, real estate, or even supporting small enterprises that follow ethical practices. Every investment should be carefully examined for compliance with Islamic law. Avoiding haram activities such as interest-based lending, gambling, or businesses that profit from unethical means. It is also essential to remember that wealth is a trust from Allah. Investing is not only a financial responsibility, but also a moral and spiritual one. Allah will question us about the resources He has entrusted to us, how we use them, how we multiplied them, and whether we remain faithful to halal principles. Investing ethically ensures that our wealth becomes a source of blessing rather than a source of sin or regret. In fact, when wealth is earned in a halal way, it brings peace of mind and a sense of contentment that money earned through haram means can never provide. Furthermore, investing wisely requires constant review and learning. Markets change, businesses evolve, and economic conditions fluctuate. It is our duty to remain informed, adaptable, and cautious. We must avoid impulsive decisions, rumors, or pressure from others to invest in something that is not halal or not fully understood. Patience, knowledge, and vigilance are intertwined. One without the other is incomplete. Finally, generosity should accompany investment. A person who invests wisely and grows their wealth should not forget that a portion of it is meant to be shared. Charity purifies wealth and brings barakah, creating a cycle of blessings that benefits both the investor and the wider community. When we invest, we should do so with the intention of being able to help others, support family, and contribute to causes that please Allah. Wealth, after all, is a tool, not a destination, and its true success is measured by its ability to benefit both the individual and society. Once we have learned to save with discipline and grow our wealth through halal investment, the final, most important piece of the puzzle is giving and being grateful. Wealth is not simply for accumulation. It is a trust from Allah, and with every blessing comes responsibility. Charity or giving in the way of Allah is not just a recommendation. It is an obligation and a source of purification. When we give sincerely, we purify our wealth from selfishness, greed, and attachment to material possessions. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "Charity does not decrease wealth. In fact, it increases it in ways that may not be visible at first, but are guaranteed by Allah." The moment you give sincerely, Allah blesses your remaining wealth, protects it from harm, and brings barakah into your life in ways you cannot measure. Gratitude and charity are intertwined. When we are grateful, we naturally want to give. Gratitude is more than words, it is a lifestyle. It is acknowledging that every provision we have, whether small or large, is from Allah, and therefore it must be used responsibly. A grateful person does not hoard wealth selfishly. Instead, they understand that money is a tool to benefit themselves, their family, and their community. Gratitude transforms wealth from a source of worry into a source of peace, because the heart of a grateful person is never anxious about their provisions. They know that Allah is the provider, and He multiplies for those who give with sincerity. When we give in charity, it is important to do so with the right intentions. Charity should not be given to show off or to gain praise from people. It should be given purely for the pleasure of Allah, knowing that even the smallest act of generosity has immense value. Feeding a hungry person, supporting an orphan, helping someone in debt, or contributing to a mosque or school. All of these acts purify wealth and multiply its benefits. In fact, the Quran reminds us that wealth is not truly ours until we have shared it with others. Keeping wealth solely for oneself is like storing water in a closed vessel. It stagnates. But when we share, it flows, nourishes others, and brings blessings into our own lives. Charity also teaches humility. It reminds us that no matter how much we have, there are always others in need. It keeps the heart soft and prevents arrogance. Wealth without charity can harden the heart, make a person greedy, and create a false sense of security. But a person who gives regularly, even from little, remains humble, thankful, and connected to Allah. This connection is essential, because wealth without spirituality can lead to destruction, while wealth accompanied by generosity and gratitude leads to success in this life and the hereafter. Another benefit of charity and gratitude is the creation of Barakah. Barakah is a divine blessing that transforms small resources into sufficient and lasting provision. A person may have limited wealth, yet when given in charity and accompanied by gratitude, it expands in ways unimaginable. Barakah is not measured by numbers, it is measured by the peace, ease, and contentment it brings to life. A person who gives and remains grateful often experiences protection from financial loss, solutions to problems, and opportunities that they could never have imagined. Allah promises that He will provide for those who give sincerely, and this promise is one of the most comforting assurances for anyone seeking to grow their wealth halal. Gratitude also changes our perspective. Instead of focusing on what we lack, we begin to appreciate what we have. This shift in mindset prevents overspending, reduces anxiety, and encourages wise financial choices. A grateful heart invests responsibly, saves consistently, and gives generously. Gratitude and charity form a cycle. Giving increases blessings, which increases gratitude, which leads to more giving. It is a virtuous circle that brings both spiritual and financial growth. Finally, it is important to remember that charity and gratitude are not limited to large amounts. Even a smile, a kind word, or a small act of help can be charity in Islam. Consistency matters more than size. Regular giving, even if modest, builds character, strengthens the soul, and ensures that wealth becomes a source of benefit rather than a source of stress. By combining saving, halal investment, and charitable giving with gratitude, a person not only secures their financial future but also attains closeness to Allah, peace of mind, and a heart that is content and generous. So, my dear brothers and sisters, let us remember that wealth is a means, not an end. Saving with discipline, growing it halal, and sharing it through charity with gratitude is the true path to lasting success. When we follow this way, wealth becomes more than money. It becomes a source of blessing, a tool for positive change, and a means to attain Allah's pleasure in this world and the hereafter.